Today I'm going to teach both you and myself how to draw a folded fan swirl. Now a few months ago I copied some parts of a tutorial from Grace and Lottie's. I think it's always important to acknowledge the source that you received information from, and my way of drawing the swirl design may be quite different to how Grace and Lottie's have drawn theirs. One thing that's different about it is that the ruler that I'm using is not see-through like theirs is. I also am not sure how Grace and Lottie's created this design from start to finish because I only took a few screen recordings from short parts of their tutorial. But I think I have a pretty strong idea of how to create this. It's a very simple design. So we're going to start by drawing a nice large square in the center of our page. So I'm not going to be using a compass for this design, but you can if you want. So I'm just going to start, eventually I'll be cutting off those wee edges, so that's roughly going to be my edge where I start the measurement from. So we're looking at 22 millimeters. So half of that is 11, so 10, 11. Cool, so there we have the center of our page. This pencil isn't great. I keep sharpening it, or maybe it's my sharpener that's not great. But yeah, my lead keeps getting eaten up, and yeah, it's not sharpening as sharp as I would like it to. Got so many leads though, so yeah, see, it just keeps breaking. I'm going to switch to a lead that I am confident will do the job. This one already is nice and sharp, so we'll go with that. Connect those 2 points. $29.8 roughly, so that comes to 14.9, and do the same up the top. Okay, 2 points, just lightly, lighter than I did the first line. And then decide how far I want that square to go. It can only go so far, so the maximum would be the short edge of the page. I like to always have a bit of a border for my work, so yeah, let's go with about 8 centimeters. I'm literally just kind of making this up as I go. It's not often that I actually draw a square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also draw 8 centimeters from any point in that line. So I've got my connection points, and I know that I'll be drawing a straight line which runs horizontally to that line. Here, and connect. And I'll do the same along here. So there's my 8. Oops. See, I find it actually a bit confusing using this ruler because I tend to go for that tiny line right there when really it's the outer edge of the ruler where it begins. So it's probably not going to be perfect, but it will do for the purpose of this video. Here, and we'll do another point here. Yeah, please draw these lines nice and light. It's good if you make a mistake, but also it's always nice to draw a little bit lighter. You can always go darker over it with pen. There you go, it's not too shabby. There's our square. I'm just going to erase those center lines which really aren't part of the design at all. Sorry if the camera shakes around. It's a bit... Ooh, oh gosh, and I just spilled my hot chocolate all over the table because this table tends to shake. And my hot chocolate was way too full. I won't show you that. But yeah, I only just changed this tablecloth yesterday. Probably have to renew it again after I've recorded these videos. Okie dokie. So, we're going to go to the very top edge of any corner of your square. And I'm going to go with 1 centimetre. So pop that 1 centimetre point alongside that point and right next to that line, that top line. And make your mark, and then we're just going to connect from this point here to that 1 centimetre point. And I believe she did that twice, so do that again, measuring from that point to this point. Again, she used a see-through ruler, but I'm sure this way will work as well. There we go. So once we flip the drawing around, we mark a 10 centimetre point again from the next corner. If you want to, you can rotate the page the other way around. It just means that the design will be swirling the opposite direction. So just go with what feels right for you. And from here, we're not going to go to the very bottom corner of the page. We're going to go to that new point that we've created. I love creating these videos where I pretend like I know what I'm doing. Pretty confident with this one. And yeah, I could have first practiced and then taught you, but why not just teach as I go? It's so nice to get back into geometry again. And it's so nice that I still have so many of you following me from an old video I created over 2 years ago, despite me not creating any more tutorials. So thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for your patience. I'm so happy to be back here in my original channel. I think the fact that you guys all subscribe to this channel, it inspired me to continue with it. Because it's funny, I was posting on different channels and this channel was just getting way more subscribers. And I was like, okay, this is a sign, I need to come back to my art. So thank you guys. Alright, so I just had a quick look at my reference video just to make sure I am on track. And I did spot a wee boo-boo. So you see here, the measurements are fine, but I shouldn't have crossed through these lines. So make sure that, yes, you measure from outside of the square, but just stop with the line there and there, just as it touches that first edge. But yeah, these ones around here are thankfully all fine. But no biggie, especially if you drew with lead pencil, you can just go over it with pen and erase the pencil later on. So we're still alright. Cool. So we've done our full, I was going to say circle, but square. And next, we do the same thing. Do not cross those lines. I could restart the whole video, but I don't think it's really necessary. Just a minor boo-boo. And do the same thing with the next 3 sides of the square. Oopsie. You know what I just realized I should have done, guys? To make these more accurate, spacing is not quite 10 centimeters. Could have just done my markings all in one go. So draw, draw, draw before you even start anything. So yeah, I'm just going to go with my inaccurate design, but that's actually a really good idea to just do your little marks all the way around the square before you begin. It's all good, we live and we learn. I mean, even if you did make the same mistake, still a good chance that yours is accurate. But I guess it just makes it easier to just continuously draw. I'm sure that it will still look okay at the end. But I am a perfectionist, so it is a little bit frustrating for me. I'll probably draw this all over again, and chances are I'll probably record it all over again. But I'll try not to. I need to learn to not always aim for perfection. And just let it go. Go with the flow. I'll be honest, you guys. I was editing this video and I was actually going to turn this into a blooper video because I did make a lot of mistakes, and this was kind of my final result, as you can see. But as I was editing the first half hour of the video, I realized that it was actually pretty decent and I could turn it into something. So I decided to start again, and I did what I suggested previously, which is to create my markings before I even start. So hopefully we'll end up with a bit more of an accurate result. I will probably still create a wee behind the scene blooper moments video, but I think that this may still work out. Practice makes perfect. I'm going to be a little bit risky here, and I'm going to go straight in with the pen just to save some time, so I really need to focus for this. And yeah, if it wasn't clear already, as you're doing this, just make sure that you do 2 points at a time as you go all the way around until you can't go any further, and I'll show you what's next. Alright, so once you've finished drawing 2 lines at a time around the square, again and again, you'll reach the corner points, and then you will come to this result. You could end here, maybe draw something nice in the center, color it all in black, but I'm going to keep going. And I don't think this is how the lady did it in the tutorial that I watched, but it still works, so we'll do our own thing for this. The last 2 I did here were here and then to the corner, and then you go on to the next line. One and 2. You continue that around. The reason you might not want to do this is because, as you can see, rather than going thinner and thinner, it starts going wider again. But that's alright, I don't mind. I should probably be waiting with each line because it's turning into a bit of a smudgy mess, as you can see, with the ruler going over the pens. Or maybe I should have put a tissue under it or something, but never mind. Hopefully once I colour it in, you won't be able to see that. Feeling a bit more optimistic about this one, guys and girls. Unfortunately, my microphone stopped working during the making of this video. Thankfully we have voiceovers, but there may be times when you see me waving my hand around randomly, so just know that this is the reason. I took my center lines as far as the center markings on the outside of my square. Next, count 2 lines and then make a 1 centimeter mark from the outer edge of your swirl. Continue this until you reach the end of your swirl. Repeat on all 4 swirls. Next, we're going to join the dots. Create small zigzag lines like so, connecting from the marking points that you just drew to the line that meets the outer edge of the swirl. I prefer to do this freehand, but you're welcome to do this with a ruler for a more accurate result. Also, I'm choosing to curve my line slightly to give a more rounded look. Repeat this on all 4 swirls. As for the center rectangle, it's up to you if you want to colour it all in black, or maybe you want to create a wee design in the center. I'm choosing to draw something freehand. I want to give the illusion of these lines folding over and under each other, so I'm erasing some lines. Alrighty, so this is where we are so far. I made a slight correction in the middle here, because this wee line here, it was under and under. Best way to think about it is if you were folding a box. One side you fold under, the other over, and you do that all the way around. So same goes for here. Over and under. Over, under. Over, under. Over, under. So yeah, I could just colour the centre in black, but I do want to give it a go to keep those lines going, and yeah, see how that turns out. And yeah, if it really doesn't work out, I can just keep the inside light and just colour all of the outside edges. The line idea didn't work, so I've decided to go with plan B and colour it all in. I've decided to give my first attempt an extra chance. I can easily add in a mist line and cover up those hot chocolate stains. And here's how it's progressing. In the end, I ended up remeasuring all of those outer markings around the outside of the square, and you can see how that has definitely altered the shape of the swirls. I ended up drawing the swirl lines a little further in this time, but then I decided to start colouring them in again. And then I ended up with this random shape, which I'm actually really liking, so I decided not to colour it all in. And here we have the finished results. In the end, I decided not to fan out the swirls in the second drawing. It's not really necessary, but it is a nice added effect. I kept running out of ink with this drawing, but in the end it still turned out alright. I actually like that I ended up using a darker pink for the bottom 2 swirls and lighter pink up top. So that's it for today's tutorial. If you enjoyed it and if you learned something new, please consider subscribing. Next week I'll be teaching another fun design, and I'll be teaching 2 more geometry tutorials the following 2 weeks. And if you really enjoy them, I'll be making lots more in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again same time next week. Bye for now.